Didn't work, did it?
Yeah, gotcha. Well, you're all under arrest. Well. Is this working? Oh my good God Almighty! There's a knot here. Is that the end? What is that? Okay. There it goes. Well, good afternoon, everybody. It's nice to see you here. And you're fortunate you're not standing out in the rain. It's getting chilly out there. There's no rain, but there's a lot of wind, and it's not good for you, as your mother might have told you when you were a kid. Not good to be out there in that kind of weather. What are we doing here? Oh, the man's here. A lot of you people have been coming here for, it seems like, years, and a lot of new people here who are afraid that either I or they may drop dead tomorrow. You better come and say hello while saying hello. It's good. You never know. And are you in control of that thing down there?
Yes, sir.
You know what you're doing? What's that do? Oh, you don't know what you're doing. Well, anyway, it works. It's nice to have a machine here. I must say, I appreciate all you people showing up here all the time in all kinds of weather. There weren't too many people here in January. I guess it was close to New Year's and Christmas. Nobody had the impetus, the energy to go out and throw money around like you do. You're so generous. I can't believe you people making collections. Seems like everybody in the world is collecting stuff from their past or what they remember when they were kids and so on, and present day stuff too. And it's great to be a part of that. Especially, I've been telling people, I watched that old video that's now on a DVD the other night for the first time in years, and I found myself laughing at it. And I thought, my God, are I really doing that on late night television in a big New York City, telling the people how bad the movie was? and the managers are sitting home, what's he talking about, our movies? Some of those movies were pretty bad, let's face it. But it was great fun to kid around with them. And of course, you all know my history. I didn't see those movies when I was a kid. I wasn't allowed to see them. And you saw them your first time in your life on television. And that's where I saw them too. I never saw them in a movie house, and never had the thrill of being scared by those great big, images like this on the screen of all the great old horror films. Are you going to turn the lights down to make it semi-spooky? Oh, that's almost too spooky. Well, I don't know. No, let him know what's good. Yeah, that's good. Maybe I would step back here, it'd be a little better. Oh, that's pretty good. Is that okay?
Great.
Yeah, I can even back further here. That's even better. Well, now that I'm back here, I forget what I was going to say. That happens a lot when you reach a certain age. I find myself going into the kitchen, and I think, wait, what did I come in here for? And I have to look all around, and I say, oh, the clicker's in the kitchen. What's it doing in the kitchen? I can go back and watch television. But you forget things. And you asked me to sign something, and within 10 seconds I said, what did you say your name was? Short-term memory is gone. Well, what are you going to do? Does anybody have any brilliant or even Adobe questions to ask? Oh, there's one.
Whatever happened to Phyllis, the amoeba?
Whatever happened to Phyllis?
The amoeba.
The amoeba. Phyllis the amoeba you're from Philadelphia.
New York, originally.
Yeah, see? Don't be afraid of these people. When I grew up in Philadelphia, we thought Philadelphia was a big town, and we didn't care about anything else. I didn't know what a big town was until I came to New York. It was a big town. But on the other hand, I look out of my window here at the hotel, and New York is about this big on the skyline. That's all it is. You go in there, the buildings are overwhelming, but when you look at it from a few miles away, it's only that big. It's very strange. I would assume that, living there, if you went to New Jersey and looked at Manhattan, say, and the skyscrapers, they would go from here way up there, You get away in a little distance, it doesn't seem all that mighty and big anymore. Well, anyway, yes, Phyllis the amoeba, it came out of, we were trying to think of things to do. We were operating on cauliflower for brains, and spaghetti for nerves, and Oh, that big hunk of liver for a heart, you know. And we had a hole in the table so I could kick it with my foot. I would get very clever at that, of moving it up and down, you know. So you could see this, sometimes you would see the stick coming up, so that poke the liver up and down, and it would miss the liver and come sticking up in the air like that. It was a great effect. And one day I was having, I've told this story many times, but it amuses me because the place is no longer there. There was a diner. You know where Chestnut Hill is? Chestnut Hill, Philadelphia? Well, wow, gee. You got some low-down friends. That's a rich area. And there was a diner there and everybody gathered there. And I watched the guy serving up some Jell-O one night, you know, and a plate like they have in a diner, they pull it out and give you a bunch of Jell-O. And I thought, whoa, that's a good idea. And I went home and made a bucket full of Jell-O. Actually in a basin, a plastic basin about this big and that deep. And so when we dumped it over on top of the table, it's got to sit there, you know, and I told the cameraman to get close to it. And just while he's sitting there, all of a sudden, it split open of its own weight, you know, and it really looked awful. It looked disgusting. It didn't, you know, well, it was pretty ugly. So we thought that was the best thing we could possibly come up with. And we put a skin around it, you know, cheesecloth, and made a big handkerchief and put it in the middle and then tied the ends and rolled it over. So that became Phyllis, that was Phyllis the amoeba. And we had a lot of fun with her. And I don't know that we ever gave it a name in New York, but we certainly brutalized it every chance we got. And we tried to mate it and all those things and do operations on it. Lots of fun, yes.
To this day, I won't eat Jell-O.
What do you say?
I won't eat Jell-O to this day.
Jell-O. And we put all kinds of stuff in there with it. Yes.
Was Gasport your son or a friend?
Gasport, was he your son or
A friend.
a thing?
A thing.
Yeah, I think it was the second, whatever that was you said. I've got 2 hearing aids. Would you like to hear them? And this was a different tune over here. Uh-oh, needs to be turned up. Gee, now, you turn one up and the other one doesn't work. It's well, and you ought to hear it. Oh, that's weird. I'm hearing you now, but it's ringing in my head. They work, but they can be very confusing, you know, really. One is more powerful than the other. Well, there you go. See? Nothing. Got to turn down. Anyway, I forget what the question was.
Oh, was Gasport your son or a friend, a thing?
Oh, Gasport. I think it was a thing, yeah.
A thing.
He was dreamed up when we came to New York after doing the show in Philadelphia. They realized the same thing, that they couldn't afford to have some extra character. They had to pay somebody to do that. So we had kept my wife in a box, and you never saw her, but she made noises, sound effect man. And the same way with Gasport, he moaned and groaned, but we had to give him a name. And I told people that we sat around a table trying to think of a name, and finally the boss of the station that was dealing with his show, he said, how about Gasport? And that sounded pretty funny to us. It turned out that Gasport is a little town up near Lake Erie where the tankers come in, and it's a gas port. So anyway, that's where the name came from. It was pretty appropriate for the character. Yes?
Did you ever see any of the other old-time horror hosts in action, like Vampira or any of them?
Vampira I met, and we did a show for her in California when she was on the air. I don't know, maybe 10 years ago. I don't know if she was, I don't think she was syndicated at that point, I'm not sure. Anyway, she's a really nice lady, and very pretty lady. And she showed up here last year without the costume, and she is quite pretty. And really nice person. And she was doing a show for Halloween, and had other guests there. Ghoul was there. I didn't know these people when they were all doing what I was doing in the late 50s, early 60s with the movies. But I had never met him. I just read about them in Monster magazine and so on. And who else was there? she had about 4 of us there, and we did little things, and then she put them together for her Halloween, the month of October. It was a lot of fun, it really was. I don't know if I've answered your question, but I forget what the question was.
That was it.
Yes, in the middle there.
Are you familiar with the host of the show One Step Beyond?
John Newland.
That's him.
Are you familiar with the host from One Step Beyond, John Newland?
No, but I am about 1 step beyond and ready to take the next step into Never Never Land. Not like Michael Jackson. I'm talking about the great Beyond. No, I never met him, no. I did meet the guy who was on, what was the big show? It was out of New York here. Daily Show, Dark Shadows. Had a good time talking to him, some kind of a reunion they had. And we talked for a long time. I never got to see him on the occasion of a show being taped or whatever. What time of day was Dark Shadows on anyway? I forget.
4 o'clock.
Afternoon? Yeah. Just after school, I bet, huh? Yeah, boy. They don't make them like that anymore. Oh, another one here.
You did have a name for the amoeba in New York. We called it the Slobus amoebas.
Oh, well, that's the technical name for the creature. Yes, you're right. Slobus amoebas. The guy who was producing the show there, he loved making up those names, and that's what he called the Slobus amoebas. Do you remember when we tried to mate them and they didn't like each other? No, that was a messy show. It was jello all over the place. Well, I had to force make them, you know. You push them. All right.
And it came from the Jersey swamps.
Yes, they came from the Jersey swamps. That's true. Where the Giants play football, and you know who is buried over there. Yes, you have a question.
Zach, you said you didn't get to see horror movies when you were young.
No.
Where did you come up with the basis for the character of Roland?
I have no idea. Seriously, I don't know. They called me up to do this. I've told this story about the cowboy show they used to do in Philadelphia. Do you remember that? The cowboy show called Action in the Afternoon? You called me about Philadelphia?
No, I don't.
2 years before the horror movies were on TV, they did a live show. It was a cowboy soap opera. Indoors and outdoors, the weather, all these things, horses, shooting guns, and it was live, no tape. And everything would go wrong, you know, your gun wouldn't fire, or the microphone wasn't working behind the tree, and they'd say, go over there. So you go over to another tree where there was another microphone, or some guy would be shot and he'd drop dead, and he'd get up too soon and walk across the camera, you know. That stuff happened all the time. What was the question?
Where you come up with the character for
So,
Roland?
I played an Undertaker one time on that show, and about 2 years after it ended, they called me up and said, why don't you do this? And I didn't know what this was, but this is it. So I don't know, started saying, my name is Roland, and this movie this evening is the worst movie that was ever filmed. Now all of a sudden I hear people going, oh God. It was great fun, it really was. And it was a big hit there, and you have a big hit in Philadelphia, you end up in New York. And I've had a great time ever since. Yes?
Was Igor and Janos deemed to be some form of deformed human being or some other form of creature?
He was another non-paid actor. Hey, Igor, what'd you do with a meal? What'd you do? Eat it yourself, you big... It was an off-stage character, noise, something, yeah. Yes?
Zach, you used to introduce a lot of the rock and roll bands in the 60s, the Grateful Dead, and
Yeah.
I think Jefferson Airplane. Any others?
Well, the ones I met, the Dead, I didn't realize that Jerry Garcia and maybe somebody else in there were big fans of those movies themselves. And he was an artist. He did a lot of stuff that I never knew that. I wish I'd talked to him about it. I never mentioned it to him whenever I met him. And they had me introduce them at the Fillmore and things like that. Anybody here went to the Fillmore? Yeah, there's one. Only one? 2, 3, 4? You missed out. Oh my God, you missed out. But they did, a lot of those shows came over to Passaic, what, the Capitol Theater in Passaic or somewhere? You weren't robbed of all the great music that was going on down there in the village in the mid-60s and so on. That was great life. I enjoyed that. I really did. I had a second lifetime, to tell the truth, because I didn't make a big deal of it that I was pretending to be 20 years younger than I was at the time. But I really loved that music.
Excuse me, how old were you when you started doing Roland? How old were you when you started doing the character?
That was in 1959, and I was born in 1918. How many years is that?
41.
41? I was 41 years old. Really? Phew. I wish I could do that again. 41.
You have.
My God. Anyway, I slipped right into the whole thing. I had bell-bottom pants and, long hair, much longer than you see it right now. I'm just glad I got the hair on my head. That's pretty good. Well, yes, oh.
When you were back on Disco Teen, the Doors were on. I've heard a story that Jim Morrison didn't exactly cooperate. Is that true?
I thought, some people have told me that, but I thought he was behaving very well. He didn't have any reputation when he came there. It was very early in their career, and they didn't play. They just wandered around, and I've told this story. He came wandering around, and I was standing in the midst of the dancers, and he walked me. He said, "This is the goddamnedest television show I ever saw." But no, and some people say he wasn't cooperative, but they weren't asked to do anything, just be there and say hello, and they did. I think they only had a Light My Fire. Was that their first big one? I guess. And they probably, I don't know, where's old Rich here? Where's Rich? Down there. Was that what they played the first time? We played the record.
Yeah.
Yeah, Light My Fire, right? Yeah. Well, that's the way it goes. Anyway, I still enjoy hearing the Doors' early albums before he kind of lost his voice and got so heavy into drugs and all. It's too bad. But he was remarkable. And so there was a group. The group was amazing. They sounded unlike anybody else. Right? Yes. Oh, okay, good. Now what we're going to do here, I need a volunteer. Where's Little John? Is Little John here? Yes, come up here, Little John, because you're going to be a mic stand. He's one of the great wolf callers of all time, but we're not going to do that to them. You stand over here and just hold this mic in front of me. You be the sound man. Just keep wearing a little closer. Look up here. That's it. That's good. Now we're going to do some stuff here, and then I'm going to ask all of you to join in here. And yes, what would you have in mind?
Oh, okay.
Well, here I can wait. First, I've got to put the magic lenses on here, or I won't even see. You're doing very well. How have you been?
Okay.
You working? Make any movies lately?
Well, next week I'll be in Indiana working in a movie called Deflowered by the director John Walker, John B. Walker, the director, who did I forgot the name, but the title will be Deflowered.
Indiana?
Yes, Indiana.
Back in my home in Indiana, where the Wabash breezes blow. You ever been there?
Never before.
Watch out for those breezes, okay? My grandnephew married a girl from Indiana, and a bunch of Indiana people showed up at the wedding and the reception. And just before that, I had said, boy, I wonder if I have the nerve to do that. So I found out what the words were to that old poem, which became their state song. And I chickened out. I didn't do it. I was going to have them all stand up on the other side of the room and make a chorus out of all these hicks from Indiana, which is what I think they are. I've never been there. I don't know what they seem like nice people, but they were always hicks to me for some reason or other. And so I never did it. So that's the end of that story. Okay, we're going to do this, are we? Little intro, yeah. I feel like an old old drunk here. Oh, say you're mine, dear Valentine. Take my boneless hand in mine. I'll make you happy, honest dear. I'll do the Charleston on your beer. I'll get a casket built for two, a cozy nest for me and you. If you'll but share your shroud with me, a dear, dear Valentine I'll be. Very low down, huh? I love that, that's the best part. My dear, I love you, I adore you, I'd do anything horrible for you. I'd file your clothes, I'll clean your wings, I'll do 1,000 gruesome things. I'll feel you, I'll feed you, not feel you. I feed you pickled vampire hawks and Prussian baskets on the rocks. Come and live with me in misery. A dear, dear Valentine I'll be. Well, that was his request. Now this is my request. Now, this is a song, no peeking. He wrote it, you know, and the words and all. He did the words and the music. So we're going to do this, and I want you to join in on the chorus. We'll sing the chorus several times. It won't take long for you to learn it. I know you're all in here because you're slow learners and you're in remedial school programs at school, and some of you are in your old age and can't even remember where you came from. But you're here. This is, where are we, in Secaucus or are we in Rutherford? We're in the hotel. Good thing you're not outside. It's nasty out there. Well, okay. This is a great song with a great rhythm, and we're going to work on that rhythm. Let me see. I may have to, I think I may have to sit down for this. Wait a minute. Take a chair over here. I'll sit right here. Yes, right here, right here. That's good. That'll be good. That'll be good. Because I have to make some noise. I have to make some noise. Here we go. All right. This is known as the Monster Blues.
Oh my God.
Did you hear that? Oh my God. He's all right. Now just go ahead. Do a little something. I'll catch up with you.
Hold on. You really put me on the spot here.
You just do something. You just do.
Let me look at 1 second. I got so many guitar parts on this song.
No, I want the big bassy part. You know, the one that really boom, 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 like you use in the bridge. That's it. You got it. You got it. A little slower. There we go. Now he's got it. Now he's got it. Yeah. Little bass. A lot of bass. Drac was in his coffin, sleeping soundly on his back, while me old Doc Van Helsing planned to launch a sneak attack. The sun was slowly rising when he ripped the lid apart, and he drove that wooden stake straight through the Count's undying heart. Because it's true, only monsters get the blues. We hunt them down with torches, dogs, and crucifixes too. You better mind your manners or they might come after you. I ran into the creature at a restaurant yesterday. He said he had a craving for a tender fish fillet. A waiter soon harpooned him and dragged him out of sight, then added Gilman chowder to the menu for the night. Because it's true, even monsters get the blues. You better mind your manners, boy, they might come after you. Because it's true, even Even monsters get the blues. Better mind your manners or they might come after you. Please, too. Oh, I'm not finished yet. Frankenstein confided that his bride had gone astray. She left him for the Wolfman, and she's moving out today. He'd kill himself right now if not for one important fact. Each time he ends his life, some evil doctor brings him back, because it's true. Even monsters get the blues. I keep forgetting the chorus. I want you to hear you say that. Are you ready? Because it's true. Even monsters get the blues. My God. Even monsters get the blues. Their mates can be unfaithful, friends can be so cruel. It's always open season, and there's nothing you can do, because it's true. Even monsters get the blues. We hunt them down with torches, dogs, and crucifixes too. You better mind your manners or we might come after you. Well, he's worked that all out, and it's all recorded.
I really did write that.
Do some more of that. That's why I love that. That drives me crazy. I love that beat. Because it's true. Even monsters get the blues. We hunt them down the crosses and do the pictures true. Because it's true. They might come after you. Whoops, here we go again. If you have anything else to say, would you like to give one of your favorite Best I can do. Thank you for coming here, and I hope you stay indoors because it's a nasty time outside. They tried hard to relieve the problem of big lines, which happened last Halloween. And they've sort of helped a little bit, but there's still long lines. Have some of you been stood outside that tent there for so long? Out in the street? My God. Well. Well, I wish I had a good story or a joke to tell you. I can't think what happened there. A cousin of mine died. That was kind of funny. I was supposed to be there. They were going to spread her ashes today. I said, huh? She died a month ago, see, so they decided to have a little ceremony and sprinkle her around the old family plot down in Philadelphia. Philadelphia, down there. Laurel Hill, you know where Laurel Hill is? Laurel Hill was a famous old cemetery in Philadelphia on the Schuylkill River. And they filled it up with all the people who were living in the 1890s and so on. And they couldn't find any more room, so they bought the same kind of land across the other side of the river. And that's where they were at a meeting, as I say, it's today, to this very day. I should have been there. Nice, rainy, spooky day, but they couldn't. But I said, oh, I can't do that, can't be there. So I sent them a bunch of tulips. And my friend who sent them on the email, he says, yeah, a lot of tulips. I said, send a real big bunch of tulips. So they can spread them around, you know, the relatives show up. Not that many around, to tell the truth. Anyway, I should have been there, but it's much more fun being here. And I'll go down there in a couple of weeks and commiserate with them. She was a nice lady, but she's gone. Tough time. Well, have a happy evening and a safe trip home, wherever you came from. How far did anybody come from a long distance here? Yes, where?
Fort Lauderdale.
Where?
Fort Lauderdale.
Florida.
Oregon?
Florida.
Florida. See, my hearing aids are really working good. Florida, okay. I met somebody here yesterday from Wyoming. That's pretty good. And somebody from Illinois, so I think. No, you're not from Illinois.
No, I'm
I'm gonna connect you with Illinois for the rest of my life. Where were you born? Where are you come
I
from?
was born in New Jersey, Jersey City.
In Jersey City?
Margaret Haig Hospital.
Yeah? Have they got a plaque on the wall? Got a plaque?
I think so.
All right, well, good luck with the movie. And thank you. You're just great. You're being in the movie. And thank you, Sarah. It's obvious we're not going to get any more music out of this thing. Thank you. It's called Internment for Two. And I may have read this to you before. This is the beginning of the CD when it finally gets made. The way those clots surround your eyes, your liver spots, they tantalize. I want a tomb, adjoining rooms, and internment for two. The way you drool, it makes me sweat. I dim the lights, but I'm too wet. Let's take a stroll, go find a hole for an internment for two. Together we will lie in state, forever hand in hand. Let's lock the vault and seal our fate. Just you and me, and baby makes three. The way your head just flops around, I stand it up, it falls back down. We need a tomb, adjoining rooms, and internment for two. It's time to go, no looking back. Give me a smile, get in the sack. Don't thrash around, I'll let you out at our internment for two. Though worms may bite, we'll be all right in our internment for two. Amen. Well, thank you. And hope you all find your way home. And don't run into any Jersey troopers. They don't take no or yes for an answer. They just lock you up. Thanks again. My goodness. And we'll see you soon, or in the next life somewhere, who knows. And, happy days.